Hello everyone, today I'll be helping all of you with tips and tricks on how to layer, use custom makeup, and free hair combos. I've been very laggy since the Valentine's update, so please bear with me, y'all. Anyways, let's get started. First of all, let's start with skin colors. I don't really recommend using the set skin colors cause it's just not for me, but it's based on personal preference. You can pause to copy the skin colors I have saved here. For the first outfit, I'll be using this skin color. Okay, let's start with custom makeup. I generally love realistic human looks. For those I use more of smaller eyes, but if you like to go for cuter looks you could always go for the bigger eyes. For this face I'll go for a more natural human look. Let's go to the mask section because I usually use those eyes. After all, they tend to be those smaller eyes that I look for. Now this is one of my important tips. For my eyes, contour, and nose, I always color them around the bottom blue or green. It's part of color theory where the blue takes away the red/pink types of color. Now for the eyebrows, I recommend not to use these thick lashes for this type of face, because they tend to look a bit off, but it's based on your preference. But for this I'll just use thin eyebrows. Now, for this face, I'll be using a mask lip, because those are just my favorite ones to use. You could also do thicker lips based on what you like. For coloring the lips I would always go for a darker color that complements the skin color, but for other styles like cutesy I would go for a lighter pink, and I don't really recommend to use the neon colors as they tend to look a bit too much. But it depends on the types of style. You could use a lot more saturated colors for themes like 𝓖𝓵𝓸𝓀 and 𝓗𝓪𝓲𝓀. For contour, just like the eye shading, I used a blue color again to desaturate the pink. Moving on to noses, I always use a thinner nose for my femme faces. I don't really like to use the bigger noses because they don't really look right on the face for me. Again, it's totally up to you on what you want. Don't be afraid to experiment. Again, same with the contour and the eye shading. I used a darker blue to match with the skin tone to look natural so that it is not saturated. Moving on to blush, I actually also use blues or greens to cancel out the red/pink color, but I do also sometimes use a lighter pink for light skin tones or a darker pink for dark skin tones. Just always make sure to make the blush complement the skin. Now for details on the face, I always use freckles on my faces for extra details. My favorite ones are 𝓖𝓵𝓸𝓀 and 𝓜𝓪𝓴𝓮𝓾. For 𝓖𝓵𝓸𝓀 I use black and 𝓜𝓪𝓴𝓮𝓾 I used a lighter or darker color than the skin tone. For eyeshadows I just use ones that give more depth to the eyes, not really to color it. Again, this is for a more natural look. You can use more detailed ones for other styles. My favorite one are 𝓛𝓪𝓴𝓮𝓾 and 𝓛𝓪𝓴𝓮𝓾. Just color them something near your skin color, either darker or lighter. And done, this will be our face. Next is our hair. For this I'll be doing a curly hair combo. You can follow along for this hair tut. Pause if you need the adjustments. And here is our finished hair. Now for making the outfit. Here I will be using items that are codes, rewards, VIP, and some seasonal items. Okay, now tips for layering. I recommend always experimenting with layering as it adds more to the fit, and always use the 4-3-8-3 rule, which means use 4 hairs, 3 accessories, 8 clothing items, and 3 shoes to make your fit look balanced. But as shown here, I don't always use that. I prefer to just experiment with things. When you layer, you should always make sure they never clip or look weird. Make it look like it's one item with a lot of details. Another tip is always have a reference, like a type of style you are going for, so you have a clear idea on what you want. Another is you should grind money, so you can buy every item in the shop possible, because all those items are very useful when it comes to layering. Also redeem all codes, and never miss out on events so you have all the free items possible. Now moving on to patterns and materials. I personally love to go overboard with patterns and materials, though some people prefer not to go overboard. If you're new, I think it's better to experiment and find what you like best. Another thing is that you should always try to have a color palette in mind. I love to go crazy sometimes and just have fun with it, but it's a lot better when you have the colors you want in mind. It helps make the outfit look cohesive. And for materials, I love to spam most of my fits with materials, as it just adds that perfect detail. Though for mobile players, I understand you can't really see it, but even though you can't see it, I think you should still try it out because others can still see it. My favorite materials to use are metallic, foil, silk, and light silk. And here, we are done with the first outfit. As you can see, I used a pink palette with some of the new materials. Okay, in this part I'll be making a free outfit with only items that are in this free area, no dressing rooms. For layering, I really do recommend to really just explore and experiment with it. Just make sure it does not clip or else that would look a bit off. Another thing is to know the toggles of certain items. Knowing the toggles of items can also help with making better outfits. Now for accessories, I do recommend you try using the adjustment tool, as it elevates a lot of fit, mainly on hair, jewelry, and other accessories. I'll just keep making my fit. You can skip to the next part if you want to. And this is the final outfit for today. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope these tips have been very helpful to you all. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Leave in the comments any tips you might have, as well as more video suggestions you guys want me to make, and that is all for today. I'll see you in the next video.